Gordon Gill is a world-renowned architect who has designed some of the world's tallest buildings, ranging from the world's first net-zero energy skyscraper to the world's tallest tower, Kingdom Tower in Saudi Arabia. Mr. Gill is the patron who will oversee the design of a new parliament building. But do you know he is Jamaican, born and raised?
I was born in Kingston and grew up in St. Ann in Monique. Went to school at a very small school at Reynolds, about 5 or 6 kids. And then I went to boarding school when I was about 9 to Cartwright College in Mandeville. We left Jamaica when I was 11 and moved to Canada, moved to Toronto. And that's where I did my high school, middle school, high school, undergrad in architecture at Ryerson University. Then went to the States, University of Texas at Arlington, and did my first master's. And then I did my second master's, my postgraduate at Harvard. And from there, I found my way to Chicago and have been there ever since. Both parents, all my sisters, all my brothers, 2 of them are born in Costa Rica, so that's a little bit of a... But yeah, parents, grandparents, all Jamaican, 100%. It's not fair to say that I was interested in architecture necessarily because I didn't know what I was doing when I was a child. I would draw plans and I would make up buildings and I would build things in my parents' backyard on the hillside and cut roads and pour concrete and run water and build cities, really, and love to make things. And then when I went to Canada and I started taking classes in school, they would call it engineering or they would call it architecture, and I liked the architecture because it had to do with buildings and I loved buildings. So at that point I realized that there's something called architecture and that's what I was doing. At least I thought I was doing, and then I became obviously educated over time as to what serious architecture can be. Well, we've been very lucky in the practice. We have designed the world's tallest building in Jeddah Tower, which is currently under construction, over 1 kilometer in height. We have designed cities, over 100,000 people, 50,000 people, that are currently under construction in China. We have probably 23 buildings under construction around the world right now. Last year we had 51, and that was because the Expo 2017 in Astana got built and completed in 2017. That was 28 buildings as part of a master plan and for the Expo. We've been very fortunate. We've been very lucky. And I think a lot of that has to do with our approach to problem solving. When I see a little boy or little girl running on the streets in Jamaica, or I see little kids in Jamaica, it is just my own opinion that little boy or that little girl is capable of the same thing. I don't think it's a stretch to expect that the children of Jamaica can grow up to do great things. And I can tell you that in my travels I've run into a lot of Jamaicans who are doing amazing things out there. And so it is a unique story, I think, because, you know, I grew up on top of a hill where I couldn't see another light in the distance at night, but I think it's just a story about progression and work and education and a certain amount of will and a little bit of luck. I think for Jamaicans this is a very pivotal moment to have the opportunity to participate in or to observe the making of the new Parliament building. That is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I think for anyone in the design field, architectural field, planning disciplines in Jamaica, that has got to be a moment to shine. That is what you live for, I would think. I think that you have a service and a duty, frankly, to your country to put your best foot forward and do the very best that you can. And it's not for yourself. It's not even for the government. It's for all those little kids that are going to come by in the future and look at the building and look at the park and look at this place and understand what this meant at this moment in time and what it can mean over the next decades for this country. It is a global opportunity. For the government, I would say about this project, think big. You already have the vision to present this as an opportunity to the country, and I think that alone is a huge step forward. But I wouldn't stop there. I would demand the very best from your design community and from the country. For the country, I would say embrace this moment, support the process, be constructive, and be visionary, and don't be afraid of what's possible, because I think this is the time when Jamaica will become again recognized not just for all the things that it already is, but for architecture. And I think that's a critical aspect of this project. I can't wait to see the results.
#RJA Parliament competition led by the Urban Development Corporation.